the first ride on the full carbon H2R. Look at her, boys. We gotta take her somewhere where it's sunny and all, so you guys can see her proper with the full carbon and talk to you about some of the other plans since I did some research. Cold start. And I want to ride and see, you know, some of the fitment is really tight. I might have to redo some of this stuff. This is not supposed to be touching right here, so we'll see if it like kind of rubs and vibrates, as well as here it's definitely touching and it's gonna rub, but there's not really much I can do about this unless I shave the carbon, so we'll see about that. Holy, this thing is loud. You can actually see the titanium fork lowers from where I'm sitting. Kind of cool. I didn't think I'd be able to see them if you guys missed the last video. We did a few part installs myself for once. I didn't take it somewhere. What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are back on the H2R. Again, I know I said in one of the last videos that I need to be riding my V4R, but we just recently, I was a little impatient, and instead of taking the bike somewhere, I decided to sit in the garage and mess with it in my little garage and install the carbon fairing as well as some titanium and extra accessories, which we're going to stop in the end and talk about and check out. But I want to do a little ride with the carbon fairing just to make sure I have a couple points that I feel like are a little too tight, where it's, you know, whenever you do a full carbon build, there's a lot of carbon on carbon parts, obviously, and because of that, like, the carbon could rub a little bit. And I want to make sure that it's not like vibrating enough and it's not rubbing enough, because I don't want it to scratch the other carbon. If that was the case, then I would need to either drill some of the carbon bits or add spacers to them. So, you know, I want it done right. We'll take her out for a little spin and then we'll end up at some, you know, spot where we can check out the bike in the sun. Now that she's full carbon, I feel like she's gonna glow like crazy. I already opened the garage and it was a little bit bright, and as you guys saw it, I was like, whoa, that looks very different from what I saw yesterday, since it was dark inside the garage. This is almost the world's only full carbon H2R. The only thing missing right now is this tank right here, and I am talking to a company to hopefully, possibly should be getting one for this thing. A little custom thing for this bike. But yeah, a full carbon tank, so we'll see how that looks. And it's also going to be a low profile one, so I can talk better. It's going to hold a little bit less gas, which is not going to be the best, but besides that, yeah, it should be a little bit better for me to tuck under since I'm a taller guy. And if I wasn't a huge fan of the look, then I'll put that tank on the H2, since the H2 kind of needs an aftermarket tank. If you guys missed it, a long time ago, the poor H2 got dropped. I wasn't even looking, it was just like on a little hill, but it wasn't in gear. And yeah, the H2 fell to the side, and luckily the only thing that got damaged, well, luckily but not luckily, the only thing that got damaged is the tank. It got dented, that's why I have a carbon cover on it. It's really hard to find, you know, the tank for the H2, so, especially with that color, since it's only made that 1 year. Just a light little 5th gear pull, and maybe even quarter throttle. The H2R power is unparalleled in this universe. I love that long sweeper. The temperatures are running good on the H2R. Let's switch it to the boost stem, something I've been looking at a lot more. And in the last video where I titled the H2R full power, it was, I was talking about the H2R temps, and I did some research, and apparently 250 plus when it comes to the boost temps, that's when it's like the slight danger zone, if you'd call it that. But yeah, hopefully we'll keep her under 200 or about 200, but we just don't want to hit the 250. My rear brake is non-existent. We were gonna go to the Mali Motorsports. Yeah, that didn't even hit 200, so we're chilling. And I'm monitoring this because we'll get to talking about it once we get there. Yeah, I literally have zero rear brake, like none. So we definitely have to sort that out. Hey. But yeah, I need to sort out the rear brake, and I have a rear reservoir for it. And that's one of the last things I have for it. I even installed this carbon fiber piece. It used to be like just this, I don't know, aluminum metal with a supercharged logo, but now it's just plain carbon. I was gonna get the supercharged logo in green and put it on it, but I kind of like the carbon. It's different. Nobody has this ever. So, you know, nice little custom piece. So I might just keep it like that. But yeah, I did a bunch of research about supercharged gears. Obviously, we opened this up, so I was able to see the homie on slicks on the Mustang. I was able to see the gearing and all of that, and yeah, I got some info for you guys. I've been doing some research. 188, okay, that's not bad. Literally just fighting the bike the whole time with wheelies. This thing is such an animal. Had to do a little pull with the jigsaw though. Look at that, we're already caught up to the Mustang. Oh, he's running race gas. I can smell it. He wants to play with an H2R. Brother, I would eat you up alive. Especially it's a little soft on this, so when there's bumps and turns like that, she definitely feels a little bouncy and not as stable. It takes a little bit more to tame this beauty slash beast, but that's good. We want to, you know, we want to hit some bumps. We want to hit a couple turns, a couple like high-speed runs, just to see if the fairings and everything is solid on it. We did save a couple pounds too with the carbon fairings. I was honestly just doing it mainly for aesthetic reasons. I'm always down for a little diet, save some extra weight. Hit 220 after all that. Okay, that's high. So that's slightly concerning. But that was kind of a longer pull, but also it wasn't really a top speed run. Okay, that's what I was trying to monitor. I'm still not doing top speed runs. I know in the last video I labeled the H2R full power, but also at the same time, I wasn't actually trying to do top speed runs. And people are like, oh, the H2R can do a lot more top speed was. Alright, we're done. Yeah, even after that, 205 boost temps, which is higher than last time. Last time we barely hit 200, but it was a much cooler day. I know, fighting wheels the whole time. Well, guess what? The H2R still got it, baby. I love this thing, man. I'm excited to stop, you know, take a look at her, inspect everything, make sure everything is good. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And talk to you guys about some of the supercharger gears that, the new info that I got, because this potentially could, maybe not, end up making 400 horsepower. That's the goal, but I want to do it in a safe way. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, boost temps are back down. Yeah, see, it is a hotter day because even the coolant temps are running at 170, 160. But also, we did saw last time when I did that my coolant levels are a little low, even though that is technically just a reservoir. But still, so maybe we'll top her off. I thought we did an engine ice swap on this thing, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong because it was kind of green. I thought engine ice was blue, so I don't know, we'll see. And I also heard about Samco hoses, that those help you cool down, but also heard from some people that they're not very reliable and they leak and all, so we'll see what we do with these two. It's such a heavy bike, like I can tell when I try to stop that it struggles, especially now that I am missing rear brake completely. Put in neutral, turn it off so she doesn't overheat. That was fun. That was a fun ride.
I was like, dude, you can't even keep that wheel down. I was like,
yep. Fighting it the whole time.
Oh, I'm sure.
You definitely gotta tame this one. She's a wild one. Alright, so far, I think this is so tight on it, honestly, that it doesn't even rub. Right here.
Is it touching or no?
It is touching. And it's not supposed to touch right here. But I think it's so tight that it literally doesn't even move. Everything feels solid, tight. Yeah, it's definitely rubbing here. I can already see like a little white, but I think it's...
Felt for it, just a little bit of felt, and just put it between.
The problem is, if I do that, I'm gonna have to take the whole thing apart regardless to get to the wing, and at that point I'd rather just do it the right way and just add like a proper spacer or something like that. But
you couldn't loosen it up and just let it out a little bit and then put it in there until you do that?
oh well, no. If I'm doing, I can't loosen it up. I have to take everything apart again. It's like a whole thing. The wing is like the last step pretty much. But the good news is that it's not. I definitely see it like slightly. There's a little like white spot of because of it rubbing. But it doesn't seem like it's anything too bad. So it should be okay. There is also, oh yeah, that's definitely rubbing. That is more of a problem for me than the side fairing, because the side fairing, like, this is the aftermarket piece. So, you know, I don't care as much about it as the OEM, but the problem right here is that this side aftermarket piece is rubbing on the OEM face, which that's a problem, and that's definitely rubbing, because this is like two, like this is all one piece. That's why I figured it'll be okay, but that's two separate pieces. Yeah, it's right here. So, well, this has to come off. See, the bolt held on at over 200 miles an hour in Mexico, done by AI. Huh? Hit 210.
Mine stopped at 186.
Yeah. So, yeah, still completely solid. But yeah, I lost a rubber grommet yesterday when I was putting it on, and I ordered a bunch more. So somehow I have to take this off anyways. The ECU's here, and that was just a pain to disconnect for whatever reason. They give you like no room to like squeeze in and like take the ECU off. So it was just completely horrible. And I used the, what is it? The grinder that we got? Yeah, for this guy right here. Yeah. I had this titanium bolt, and I saw that it fits here while I was working on the bike yesterday, and but it was too long, so I used the grinder to like cut it, so it's like perfectly flush. It's so much easier, dude. Most of these titanium bolts, when I had to cut them and all, I used the handsaw, which is more accurate, to be honest. It came out cleaner than this, but this is so much easier. It's just because in the end, like it's hard to kind of like cut it clean, you know what I mean? In the end, there's always like a little piece where when it falls off.
Like there's gotta be a way to hold it better or something.
Exactly, yeah. I think it's mainly that it's hard to hold like a bolt properly, even though I have like the tool. Yeah, no, it was a pain to cut titanium, and it's cool too with the grinder. Like the sparks are all like very bright color.
Yeah, are they blue?
They're not blue. They're like a white almost. They're not yellow.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I did it and I'm like, oh wait, I need glasses for this. I don't want this to go in my eye. But yeah, that's one of the last touches I put on it. I think it looks nice. Yeah, I almost removed this whole thing. The whole point of this is this little metal bracket just to make sure the brake line is in place. I almost thought that I didn't need it, but I was like, whatever. Yeah. Exactly, yeah. I figured like at speed, I was like, we don't want it going anywhere. Wow, we used up the whole tires on those couple turns.
That guy in the Mustang?
Yeah. He was on race gas. Did you smell it?
I smelled it.
Yeah. Okay. Oil is good and looking clean. Oh, dude, all that wind at speed, I'm trying to like keep her down. Like I pulled my neck.
When you kind of one-handed in the turn, and almost when you went in the shoulder, I was like, oh.
Yeah, cause it was bumpy and the suspension is soft on this, which I do like, kind of for takeoff, like the way it kind of like, yeah, it like sits better, kind of almost like squats a little bit.
You were in a turn and you did that?
So yeah, it was kind of like in a turn and it hit a bump, so it kind of went like,
I was like, uh-oh.
yeah, nah, it's nothing like bad, just
You weren't anticipating that.
exactly, yeah, suspension is too soft. But yeah, look at her, boys, full carbon. If my shadow isn't in the way, but looks spicy. Yeah, another thing is that like you can see here, the plastic is like not flush. I can't tell. I think it's the carbon actually. I think the carbon needs to be like dent inwards like this a little bit. It's a problem with carbon, man. Oh, yeah. See, this is like. Oh man, this is completely. Yeah, I'm gonna need to take this off. Dang, this already did the damage, just from this one ride. Look at this.
Yep. Vibrating.
Yeah. Whoops. Carbon, man. I'm gonna have to either drill the carbon a little bit, like shave it from the bottom and hope for the best. But it's kind of curved, so that's why I didn't want to like cut it and make it look weird. Either that or like you were saying, I'll like put some sort of like little tape or something just to.
Like felt pads, so it's like an automotive. It's like they put it on.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. But I don't want it to be visible. So I might just do clear, like a tiny bit of clear tape on the actual, like the top piece of the carbon. Like wrap it around this. We shall see. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but, you know, the carbon face on it obviously is, I can't even imagine how expensive that thing is. Probably easily like over $5,000 because it's one piece. This to this to this, all the way to down here. And it's unique only for the H2R, so you can't really get it aftermarket. So I'm pretty sure from Kawasaki it's easily like over $5,000, but that's a price you pay when you want to do a full carbon build, man. It can almost never be 100% perfect. There's always going to be some sacrifices here and there. But yeah, at least she looks spicy with all the carbon. I kind of miss the OEM fairing. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Do you like the way it looked before, or do you like the full carbon better?
I like both. I think because your H2 is already like this, I like the painted. What I really like personally is what they did on the carbon H2, where they had that matte green.
Oh, the tank?
You know what I'm the same?
Yeah. The tank is green.
I like that matte green.
Yeah.
That would be sweet.
Nah, I'm not really a fan of color. Not much.
The other one's flat black, right? Matte black?
Which one? The
Black one?
H2? H2 is full on chrome.
No, this one.
Yeah, it's like the tank.
I like that. This isn't bad. I think I like it separates.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it just separates more.
Mhm.
But this just looks a lot like your H2 because your H2's carbon.
No, it's not.
It's not?
Not at all. It's fully chrome. It's way less carbon than this.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like this, but I think I like the matte better.
Yeah.
Because it separates. It brings separation.
Contrast, yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what I was thinking about it too. That's why I left it, because when I got this, I didn't really like the satin chrome as much, because I like the pure chrome, like the H2. But then it kind of grew on me because it's kind of like, you know, a little different from the chrome. And then I was going to do full carbon, and I decided not to. But I kind of feel like I have an obligation to have a full carbon H2R, because nobody ever does. So.
Well, I mean, that's a good enough reason if you wanted to be like a one-off thing.
Yeah, so that's mainly why. But yeah,
The thing with like full carbon bikes is they tend to look kind of plain because it's just all carbon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Well, that's why I have all the green on it to kind of like offset a little bit.
It does help.
Yeah.
Or like what you do with your Ducati, your V4R is you kind of paint it into it.
Yeah.
Carbon, but it looks like artistic.
Yeah. Well, what I can do to this is I can add the H2R lines on it.
I think that would look cool.
Yeah. I think that might add to it. It might look a little bit much because I already have the green titanium and the green wheels. So it might be a little too much, but I can always order them and see.
Well, it'll kind of give you what the feel your seat's giving you.
Yeah, but that's how my H2 is. So I didn't want, I liked that this is different. Like my H2 has the green lines, but not the titanium bolts and all. But this one I went with the titanium route and no lines. So you know what I mean? It's like slightly a different look. But I don't know, we'll see. And I'm still waiting on a full carbon tank, so it still has a curve, but it's like way like shorter. So we'll see. I can tuck better.
How many gallons? Is it going to be less?
It is. I think it's a gallon less.
Oh, a gallon less.
Yeah, I think this is 4. I think it's gonna be 3 if I'm not wrong.
Save some weight there too.
It's true. That's true. More weight savings. Talking about supercharger gears, so I opened it up. The upper gearing